All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of For the Most Part podcast. Guys, I'm glad to be back with this guy. He's been doing his thing. And the last time you would have chatted with him, he had some stuff released. So I just want to catch up with him. Ladies and gents, Mr. Paxson. Cheers was the
Hi, hi,
word,
hi.
was
How
was
are
the
we? How
vibe.
are we? Thank you for having me
Thing
back here.
Yeah, of course. And I think it's good because but the last conversation we had, you had released some stuff. So if you could remind us as to what you've done so far, especially for the people who may have lost touch.
I think the last time we talked, I released I just released a project, another EP. I think it was The World in Between.
Mm,
Since then, I haven't really done too much. I kind of usually I drop projects like clockwork, but I decided to slow it down a little bit, try a different formula. So I've only
right.
dropped two songs since we talked, and that was "Here We Go Again" and "Black Paradise." And I've kind of just been letting those do them and letting them move the way they wanted to move so far. Nothing really significant. I just been kind of hanging out, chilling. I just came back from my country. I'm from St. Lucia, so
Right.
I just came back from there and just kind of been home, just relaxing, vibing out, nothing crazy.
Nice, nice. So now that's good to know because you're a fellow Caribbean person out there
Yeah, yeah.
doing your thing. So at least you have a perspective on, what it's like to be an artist,
Hmm.
getting out there and doing your thing.
Hmm.
So talk to me a little bit about that. Like, so you're from St. Lucia. Um, you would have moved to the US at some point for whatever reason it was. What
No,
has what has that dynamic been like coming back to St. Lucia and then to the States
um,
and then
well, I mean, I'm not, I'm American. I was born here,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
I've been
yeah, yeah,
back
yeah.
and forth for so many times that I feel like I was from there at this point.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
mom's American, my dad's St. Lucian, and I haven't visited for at least like 2 3 years, so it felt good to go back, see everybody, and just get the sun because right here is raining and
Yeah.
get the sun, get the just get on the beach, just relax. That's all it was for me. My grandma was turning 90, so that
Wow.
was the main
Significant.
point of the trip, the main point of the trip. But other than that, it felt good to like really not be Paxson and be who I am and just be a
Yeah.
different person. And out there, I'm just a regular guy. No one really knows me out there. No one really knows like, oh my God, it's you. Like out here,
Mm.
it's like, oh, I know you. Like you're that guy. But out there, I'm just a
Yeah.
regular guy. And it felt good to just breathe. And
Mm.
it's like uh, the pilot when I flew back, because I flew into New York, on the intercom he said welcome back to reality. That was the realest thing I ever heard because that's true. Like I'm back to reality now. I'm straight back to action. The first thing I did when I got home was line up some meetings like here and then
Mm.
get some studio time. So I'm back and
Yeah.
I don't have any ideas, but I know that it's gonna be a lot coming this summer. A lot of shows
Mm.
I'm trying to hook up, and I got lineups and more plans than what I had before when we last talked. When we last spoke, I think I was kind of like, just gonna drop something, see what happens. But
Yeah.
now I'm kind of on the mode. I'm back in project mode, trying to work on a lot of different stuff.
Right, right. So now that people know what you're about, I want to find out something because how supportive are people from St. Lucia regarding your music? Now, I know you're probably going to say, well, family, but I'm sure
Mm.
your family has friends that are like, hey, well, that's more we just call it your brethren,
Mm.
your brethren child who released the song. Here's a track. Are they supportive like that? What is that like? Because I
Um,
know in Trinidad, we like to claim, son of the
yeah,
soil kind of thing.
yeah. I mean, personally, for the type of music I make, a lot of people don't want to talk about it, and I don't make I make very like sad, depressive, heartbreak, like stuff like that. So even on like my American side or my St. Lucia side of the family, they kind of just like let him do him. They don't like really, oh my God, like you're doing it's non-existent. To put
Right.
it the best way. Right. I feel like if I made like a different genre or a different subject matter, it would be different. It would be a different conversation because they would want to listen to that. But they just
Mm,
all right, he does his thing. He does his thing. Let him live his life.
right.
They don't really bring it up in conversation. Um they don't really do too much about it. It's like, okay, we know what you do. Go do you. Like,
Yeah,
definitely let him.
yeah, yeah. Fair, fair, fair. So talk to us about what you have planned coming up. What are the releases that we should be looking out for? Any music videos, anything like that? Because everybody's dropping something
Hmm.
apparently, and that's a thing. If a friend
Yeah.
of mine says, "Well, I'm dropping this track next week," somebody else is dropping a whole EP.
hmm
What can we
hmm
expect from Paxson?
Yeah.
Because
Like you said, everybody's dropping, and I got a close friend. He's about to drop his album, and I'm like, oh crap! Like,
wow,
and I got like my favorite artist, like me. He's about to drop his album. Another artist I like to dropping his album in April, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute! Everybody's dropping. I got to do stuff, but I don't have a project ready. My
mm-hmm.
next project is called "I'm Scared of Everything."
Hmm.
That's the title. I have a couple tracks. I have like at least 50 tracks written down, recorded, and ready. But I'm gonna like narrow it down to like seven, maybe eight. But
Yeah.
right now, I just have a bunch of tracks. I'm ready to release two different singles. One's called "Falling Stars," and the other one I don't have a name for it yet. But that's getting a feature. I'm trying to figure out where I'm gonna get that feature from. I have a guy. Me and him are just chatting back and forth. Hopefully, it all lands. But
Right.
right now, I just got two singles coming. One hopefully this month, and one the next month. And then I'm just gonna try to get ready for the project because I do plan on doing going back to the stage again. I stopped doing shows after the pandemic, and I let it simmer a little bit, and I kind of got stagnant with it. I got comfortable with not having to
Mm.
drive everywhere and not do back and forth, and that's on me. And I
Yeah.
realized that. So I think that this summer I do want to go back on the road and do certain things. So I'm just planning to. I just a lot of gears in the motion right now,
Right.
and that's so basically to answer your question. I do got some music videos coming through. Um, I actually got to go shoot one of those tomorrow. Um, and everything's working. I do got some stuff coming through. Just be on the lookout.
Right. Nice. 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 So talk to me about the EP title, because that's such an interesting title to go with, because not everybody's gonna be like, I'm scared of everything. That's not a title that people normally sit and go like, yeah, I gonna release. What
Yeah,
was the idea behind it? I'm assuming that the tracks have some parts of some stories to talk about that fits this
yeah,
whole.
yeah. I mean, from a person that struggles with like anxiety and depression, one of the things that can happen is you're afraid of a lot of things, and like
Yeah.
normal things like ordering coffee is like scary and stuff like that. And this is just like stuff like I've seen from people that I know that deal with it, and from myself that I've dealt with. So like, the point of that is like just to show like when you're in that mindset where your anxiety is on a 10 and your depression's on like a 12, you're
Yeah.
afraid to go outside. You're afraid to leave your room. You're afraid to order coffee. You're afraid of everything because everything
Thing.
is magnified at the same
Mm.
time. And that's kind of the vibe that I'm trying to go for with this project. Where a lot of things like certain songs, like one song is called Melatonin, and
Hmm.
the song like the hook is like I'm tired of it all. I'm tired of the calls. I'm tired of acting like I don't need no one at all. Like it's like it's just you're tired of dealing with this stuff, but that's the best way you know
Hmm.
how to do it. So a lot of songs on there is about just not too down in the
Deep.
dumps, but
Yeah.
it's
But
more
it's reflective. It's reflective.
exactly it's more like this is what I deal with and this is why it's scary type of thing. So that's kind of the
Yo,
vibe
trust.
about it and stuff.
I know how that feels, because and again, anxiety is a normal thing. People, I would just like to say we all deal with it, me included. It's a thing that is a everyday battle. But until
Mm-hmm.
you learn to kind of just face that fear,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna consume you. And I'm assuming that that's what this is all about, because you don't know what's gonna happen with that album. You don't know if everybody's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be like, yeah, no, I don't like it, or if
Yeah,
people are gonna be
100%.
like, I like it. So.
Exactly. This is my 11th project, and every
Mm,
project I've ever made was about like has this type of subject matter, has a different story, but it's all rooted in like this type of world, the subject and stuff.
yeah.
And I stepped out my box last project with the world in between, where it was kind of like a same thing, but it was more like a fantasies, different world type of thing, just for the fun
Mm,
of it. It was, and that did well, and like that was one project I was like, "Ugh, I don't know, like this is different, like really
yeah.
different. But it did really well, rather well for numbers wise, and people enjoyed it. But
Right.
for this one, I'm kind of going back to my roots. I'm gonna do like what I did with my very first project was called Walk With Me, and it was more rapping and more like hip hop vibes, but it had a good story. And I'm
Right.
gonna try to take that story, and I'm not gonna do too much hip hop vibe, not too much rapping because my fans have grown to love the way that I do stuff now. But I do want to tell a story back like from front to back. So
Right. Right.
I I want to see. I want to kind of test my ability to do that again because I haven't done it in so long. So I just want to. I'm the challenge is to tell a story, but knowing me, anything could change at any minute. The title might change in the
Yeah.
next 5 minutes. I don't know. Everything like I'm never concrete until like the last like 3 days before I'm like, all right, this is it. Like we already
Yeah.
have it. But right now, my mindset is set on that, and hopefully it stays like that. Like I said, it could change in like next 30 minutes after this
Yeah.
interview. Like
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I believe that nothing should be set in stone, especially when you're
Mm.
working on something so important, because sometimes change is good. So I just write it down, and say, okay, we're gonna try this, and as I work for it, I'm like, you know what, that might be better. Let's do that for instead, and then we'll go
Yeah.
from there.
Wow. Wow. What advice would you give to anybody who's afraid?
Um, it's okay. It's okay to be afraid, but don't let it hold you down for too long. It's okay to take a day or two and say, you know what, I'm not doing that, bro. I'm scared of that. But eventually,
Mm.
you kind of have to, and especially
Yeah.
depending on what it is. Some things you could avoid out of fear. Like if I don't ever want to order coffee, I don't want to order coffee. But eventually, it's gonna be that one day you don't got whoever with you to order the coffee for you. You might like, I want my coffee. But
Yeah.
it's okay to be afraid. I mean, I think especially in the time we live in now, people it's like once you're afraid, you're weak.
Mm.
You're not up to par to what society or the standards of the world gives us, and that's not true. You're allowed to feel emotion in general, whether you're male, woman, or whatever you want to call yourself. You're allowed to feel emotion, and that's the best thing that I had to learn for myself. That it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to be angry,
Mm.
but just don't let it tie you down forever.
Wow. I and again, no, in my mind, this question is going to go down in a direction that has nothing to do with this podcast. In terms of, would you say like a lot of guys are not allowing themselves to feel, especially in this time?
100%.
Because I'm hearing you talk about it, and I'm like, yo, this is you're one of the few guys out there that are actually saying, this is what I deal with.
Mm.
It's okay to be scared because there's this new trend now where I kind of have to be like this,
Be
macho
self.
guy. But yeah, 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 yeah. So I mean, is there anything you want to tell those guys
I
generally? And
mean,
because I mean, that might just be me pushing, but
no, I
in back of
mean,
my mind, I sometimes wonder too, like, how can we help these guys? Because deep down, I'm sure they're afraid of something, or there's
no,
something
a
that they
hundred
need help
percent,
with.
a hundred
Yeah,
percent. I've met the toughest guys in the world. I've seen the guy, a guy. He's not afraid of nothing. I thought like this man's like he's that guy, and
yeah.
he sat there and he like his mother passed and he tears just falling. I was shocked. I was young. I was like 12, maybe 13, 14,
Wow.
and I that was like a wake up call for me. Like you can be that guy. You can be the toughest
Mm,
guy, but you're still a human being, and a lot of guys go through that. I mean, I went through it, especially in high school. It was like, yo, you can't. Like, what are you doing? Like, are you like, what are you fucking
mm,
going for? Um, I started making music in high school, and at the time, my music was like just rap, just real hardcore. Like, I do this, like I this, that, and the third, yada yada.
yeah.
And one day, I decided to just drop like a small project, and it was real emotional, filled, and it was awkward because like no one talked to me for that whole week. Like
Wow.
I remember it vividly. No one talked to me, and if they did talk to me, they were like close friends, or they didn't hear it at all because like everyone was
Mm,
doing stuff in high school. Like no one cared. But
yeah.
as I grew older, and I felt more and more of like life and emotion and stuff like that, I realized that it's okay to express those feelings, especially when I had problems and I didn't know who to talk to, and I went to go talk to my friends. They were like, "What? No, like
Yeah. Yeah.
we're just trying to chill." And I'm like, "Bro, I don't feel okay. Like, help me." And they're like, "No, that's
Yeah.
cool." But eventually, you there's so many people in this world, so many people.
Yeah.
You're
True.
gonna find that group of people that understand. Like the friends I have now, they understand. They'll have their
Mm,
issues and they'll come to me, and my friends like they'll be like, "Bro, like today's not a good day for me. I'm just tired of this and that and third." And like, bro, it's okay. Like we it's the environment, basically what I'm trying
yeah.
to say. Because there are people where you go into, especially like in schools, work, family, especially, they they just build off of this notion that the man is the man. That's it.
Mm, mm,
And I think once you start to go against the man is the man and go the man is the human, the man is the person, that's when they're like no. And then that can build a lot of fear, doubt, um, a lot of self hate, a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like for the guys, we have to understand that if you feel trapped into this environment where you have to be the toughest person alive, because male suicides is way higher than female suicides.
Yep.
And if you feel that you have to be the toughest person alive, you are in the wrong group. Simple.
Yeah.
And sometimes you may have to be alone for a little bit to find that group of people that understand that, which I had to deal with, and I feel like that's the scariest part. But
It's legit
it's worth
handpicking
it.
your circle. That's legit what you're doing. You're picking people to be around because
It's
just
worth it.
remember, you're gonna be editing the people around you at all times.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I know that that's trippy to say. I know we went down a whole deep psychological route, but I think it's important for people to know, especially musicians, because we are the most emotional beings out of every other faction, whoever you want to call it, out of
Hmm.
all of the different types of jobs in the entire world. Music is something that is not even, I can't even say it's physical, it's a metaphysical kind of thing.
Hmm.
Vibrations, we are so
Hmm.
emotional. That's the only way I could put it.
Yeah.
And we resonate either poorly with people or very well, and we
Hmm.
have to be very careful as to who we have around us, because
Hmm.
there are some people who are around you right now that are not helping your musical career,
Hmm. And just
you
bringing
know.
you down. They're bringing
Yep.
you down.
Yep.
And it's a journey. You got to find those people, and sometimes you get stuck in what you're used to doing instead of what you have to do,
Yep.
and that'll put you into the cycle of like, man, I could do better. I'm gonna do better. You know what? I'm okay. I'm doing fine. I hate it here. I don't like myself. Man, I could do better. I'm gonna do better.
Yeah.
And it becomes hell. It becomes hell from a person that's been in that cycle multiple times. It eventually you start to realize the cycle and you're like, why can't I break it? Or you be like, I gotta break it. It depends.
Mm.
Like it depends on who you are, but it also depends on your surroundings because different times where I'm like, I gotta break this, and then there's
Yeah.
people like, oh, you're complaining, you'll be fine, and I'm like, maybe I am complaining, and then there's been times where I'm like, I gotta break this, and my friend's like, well, what we gotta do? How can we help you? What's next for
Mm.
this? What's the next move? It depends on who you are with, because like I said, your environment will set the tone of your mentality. And even like small stuff, like your environment controls your diet, your mentality, your sleep
Yeah.
cycle, how you react to certain things, small things, big things. Your environment fuels all of that.
Yo, we went to church and you all there. I apologize. I apologize, but I think it's something that was needed to have been said, because for a while, like, I think this podcast is probably about that. It's about not just about finding ways to make money in music and making music, but it is about making sure you have the right crew around you to guide you and support
Mm,
you and tell you, like, yo, you need to straighten up, or no, we there with you. You know what I mean? And I think that this was a message that people needed to hear a little more and a little more deeply than before,
yeah.
because we are in a time where we legit, guys, just got out of a pandemic.
Mm,
Everything is now open. We were so used to being isolated for 2 years straight, and now
mm,
we're interacting with people. So you're going to be hypersensitive to a lot of things.
mm, mm.
So I appreciate what you said there today, because I think people need to really hear it and really
Yeah,
absorb that.
and I think that's what a lot of my music is about. Like, if you from my first project to the 10th project, it's always been about like just emotion from depression to heartbreak. Like, just it's real serious for me. My goal when I started music was just to help people like realize that they're not alone,
Mm,
and that's kind of all I've been doing. And I still get people to this day that's like, "Yo, man, like you really helped me feel like I'm not alone," or like you saved my life, or I've done this and that, or I went to go get help because I heard this song and stuff like that. And if anything, that helps me more than they know. Like that helps me continue to
yeah.
go and keep doing my stuff because it's like when you set out on a goal or a mission and you see it like striving and really doing well, you it makes you want to keep going despite all the the hassles of this stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I still want to
Money or
do it.
not, sometimes it doesn't matter. The money is not all of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course, yeah. And like the sleepless nights and the late night works and just the days of no sleep or the weeks of just work, 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 and it's worth it when you hear stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I I'm really excited for this project, and I can't wait to see how people feel because, like I said, this is my 11th EP, so it's kind of big for me. Because I started doing this in like 2017, and
Wow.
from there to now, that's not long at all. A lot of people think
Mhm.
that's it's not long to have 11 projects under your belt. Is insane, and I hope to have way more by the next year. So
Yeah. Well, that's great, and I'm glad that you're gonna keep doing what you're doing because a lot of people need that. They need that advice. However, it's coming through to them. If it's just the chords they choose in the song, if it's the
mm,
words, if it's a message on the picture of your EP, because all of
mm,
that affects people. So we appreciate it. Keep doing what
mm,
you're doing.
thank you.
Um, Tell people where they can find you. I think that's a nice way to wrap this episode, guys. I think we hit the nail on the head with this one. Tell people where they can find you. What dates we could look out for any of this stuff that's coming out, and show us too. We could kind of gauge, and if there's a live stream on, we there. We supported you.
I don't have any dates for anything yet. Like I literally landed back 2 days ago,
Right, right,
so
right.
I'm still like so. But right now you can just find me anywhere at Paxson Chase, Paxson Chase. That's Spotify, Apple, Google, everything that you can find a person on. I'm there. So yeah,
Lovely. All right, guys. Well, I think that's it. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Paxton, thanks for joining us once
no
again.
problem.
And we'll see y'all and we'll hear y'all next Friday. Peace out, guys.
Yes.
That was dope.